If Christ had made the mistake of writing his own book and proclaiming it publicly, he would not have been able to prevent many of his disciples from being seduced by the idea that they possess a text, word for word, straight from God on a piece of paper. It would have been irresistible. And could he have prevented it with disclaimers? Think about Jesus writing at the beginning of his book, "What I, Jesus, have written here is not directly from God," or "Don't think that's straight from God." Think about how confusing that would be. If Jesus himself writes a book and tells you, "Don't think that's directly from God," what are you supposed to do with that? It would provoke total confusion and the error of disbelief in him. People would think that he himself was denying his own divinity. Even with the disclaimers, the conviction of those who would be misled by the expression "straight from God" would have been erroneous. It would have rested on a denial of reality. The silencing of the problem of authority needed to establish the canonical Jesus' text, the need to accept human testimony and explanation, but try telling that to people who believe they are holding a book written by the hand of God himself. It would have been nearly impossible for many of Jesus' own people to resist thinking they'd come into possession of something word for word, straight from God, because word for word, straight from Christ. By writing through the evangelists, by choosing not to write himself, but to work through human authors, through John, Mark, Matthew, and Luke, Jesus did not create that trap. He didn't give his followers a material object that they could hold up and say, "That's straight from God, submit to it." And he didn't dispose the apostles or any of his faithful disciples toward promising such a text to others. And he made it clear by the very structure of how his message was transmitted that divine truth comes to us through people, through their testimony, their experience, their language, their imperfect but honest witness.